I do want to welcome you guys. My name is Jesse. I'm with Decker Truck Line, and we're going to be talking about a lease purchase program. We actually have 3 different opportunities available for you here. And our lease purchase programs have been revamped and really are designed for your success. I know with a lot of lease purchase programs out there, it's a frustration for many people because you kind of feel like you're forced into it and that you're molded to fit that individual lease purchase program. Well, the way that we've designed this is more with the option to let you mold it around what you're looking for. Like I said, it's designed for success. If you're not seeing success with it, you're probably not going to find success with the lease purchase program. Now, remember, lease purchase is an option for those who aren't able to purchase a truck outright or don't have the financial means and still want to own or have a truck ownership at some point. So this is basically your gateway into having your own truck and possibly building your own fleet. It's definitely an option. We've seen it here at Decker several times, and we encourage it most definitely. So like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Not only are we available to answer questions right here, but you can also get a hold of any of the recruiters at 888-668-0698. And if this sounds good and you'll want to jump aboard, that is our web address. Hopefully it's not backwards on your end, but it's drivedecker.com. drivedecker.com. So again, my name is Jesse Butler, and we're going to be talking about the lease purchase program. And joining me today are both Erin and Bryce. Erin, I'm going to give you the floor. Tell us a little bit about the trucks that we have here.
Okay, so we have the Peterbilt 579s, the Volvo 730s and 780s, and we have the Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions. They are fully loaded, guys. So we've got the 32-inch TV. We've got Epic View, which is satellite TV, and we pay for that. We also have refrigerators, microwaves. We've got the APU and 1800-watt inverter. We also have in-cab scanners, radios, and free Wi-Fi through your geotab.
You'll see here, this is one of the videos, not only about the company itself, but the trucks and all the amenities that are included in there. So you can check that out. Like I was saying, we do have a couple of different lease purchase programs to choose from. We have the mileage pay program in our refrigerated division. We have both our percentage divisions, which are flatbed and refrigerated. So let me tell you a little bit about the lease purchase refrigerated division. I'll jump in on that one. And like I said, if you have any questions, just let us know. I'm going to keep this video playing here for the time being so that you can see some of those amenities that are included in the truck. So with the lease purchase program in the refrigerated division, you're paid per mile, or excuse me, you're paid per percentage. So whatever the load pays, you're going to get 72% of the load. Now, before you can even dive into the lease purchase program, you need to put $1,500 down. That's the deposit. However, if you're a current driver for Decker, you do have the opportunity to run with us for 90 days, 6 months, a year, whatever the case might be, and earn a position in the lease purchase program by having at least an 850 or above on our scorecard. Now, if you're wondering what the scorecard bonus is all about, it is basically, really, it's used as a great measurement for us on determining whether or not you'll see success in the lease purchase program. And like I said before, the lease purchase is designed to get you success. We don't want you to fail. We want you to succeed. And just like everything else we do here at Decker, we are in fact driven to be the best. So we're going to support you in the best manner possible. So with the scorecard, there are a few factors. And as a company driver, you need to be well aware of what those factors are. Idle time, fuel compliance, on-time delivery, so driver service failures, preventable accidents, CSA violations, being available for dispatch, getting the miles. Those are all criteria, not having any claims, all criteria for the scorecard. And the better the number, so 1,000 point being a perfect score, the closer you are to that 1,000 points, the more cents per mile you'll see on your monthly bonus. And that goes for both the company side and the lease purchase side. Now with the lease purchase side, fuel compliance and idle time don't factor in because you're already going to see the major savings from your week-to-week payouts instead of this monthly scorecard bonus in the lease purchase program. Whereas as a company driver, you're not seeing those deductions with your fuel compliance or savings for that matter, or your idle time, whether it's gouging you or it's, giving you bonus points basically for getting a better mileage pay, or fuel mileage, excuse me. So we don't take into consideration those two factors in the lease purchase scorecard. But if you've got a good handle on those two factors that are not relevant to the lease purchase scorecard, those are going to make or break you when it comes to the lease purchase. Does that make sense, you two, or am I rambling? Because they're really major factors in your success.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Perfect. So really that's the basis. If you get 850 or above as a company driver here at Decker, then you can transition into the lease purchase program without that $1,500 down payment. And that was my whole point of that discussion. Otherwise, if you're coming directly aboard to Decker and want to start the lease purchase program right away, that $1,500 deposit is required. So that's part of that 72% or our percentage pay for the refrigerated division. And of course, you're getting that percentage based off of the revenue of that load. Our driver managers are looking at high revenue loads for you. They're looking at making sure that you're getting the miles because you do get the fuel surcharge as well as the pay or the revenue, the percentage of the revenue. Now, with the refrigerated division, you're going to get 10% or you're going to get 90% of the fuel surcharge because 10% of the fuel surcharge is going to go to Decker because Decker pays for the reefer fuel. There's no trailer payment for expenses for you. However, we are responsible for the refrigerated fuel, and that's why we're getting that 10% for the fuel surcharge. The remaining 90% all goes to you. So you're going to see those major discounts or incentives, I guess. You know what? I didn't give Bryce fair warning on this, but I'm going to do it anyway. But Bryce, you are awesome at describing the surcharge and explaining what that is. You want to take the floor?
Yeah, so when we book our freight, if you will, we're bidding on contracts, if you will. So that contract is signed at the time for the price of fuel then. Obviously, with fuel, it fluctuates. So it's rated at 6 miles per gallon. So that fuel surcharge will be calculated based on the current rate of fuel at 6 miles per gallon to offset the original contract that was signed. So if you can average over 6 miles per gallon, you're going to make money with the fuel surcharge. And most of our trucks are averaging between 8 and 9. So they're making money with that.
Awesome. So we want to keep that fuel up in this case so that you guys will see success in that. But that's what the fuel surcharge is. It's a little bit different on the other divisions, so we'll explain that later on. Now, if you are running a dry van or hauling a dry van in the reefer division, because yes, sometimes it is, or it might not necessarily be a dry van, but it might be a dry load with the reefer division, and it's not temperature controlled, so therefore you're not using any reefer fuel. Then you're going to get 100% of the fuel surcharge instead of the 90%. Cool? All right. So kind of see where we're going here with that. In addition to that, like I said, you'll have 90% of the fuel surcharge. You'll have 72% of the line haul revenue. You'll have 72% of any accessorial pays, lumpers, or excuse me, lumpers or layover, detention, that kind of thing, when that's paid. I think the max is $60. Is that right? Up to $60 total for the accessorial pay in the refrigerated division. Now, we talked a little bit about that scorecard. That is an additional possible incentive of another 3 cents per mile, but it depends on where you're at on that point value Again, 1,000 point being the top or the best for the full 3 cents per mile. And then if you're getting like 850 or 900, you're going to get anywhere from 1 to 3 cents more per mile on that scorecard bonus. That pays out monthly, usually around the 3rd week or around the 15th somewhere of every month. We also have the Smart Drive bonus, which is calculated based off of one of our it's our Smart Drive unit, but one of our safety features that are in the truck. It does include both inward and outward facing event recorders, lane departure, speed gauge, following distance. Am I missing anything else? That thing has a lot of
collision avoidance.
There you go. Yeah, so that's the Smart Drive system. It's a huge safety feature. Come in handy, but it's an extra penny per mile if your score is 20 points or below. So 20 points or below will get you that extra Smart Drive. And that's on all the miles that you ran that month. Let me rephrase that. It's on all the miles that are completed that month. So if you were dispatched on a load, say the 30th, and it wasn't delivered until the 1st, that particular load will fall on the following month. But everything completed by the end of the month is in there. We also have the $5,000 sign-on bonus. Erin, you want to take the floor on that one? The $5,000, the quarterly sign-on bonus?
Yep, I thought my dogs were going to bark there. Sorry. Okay, so the $5,000 sign-on bonus is paid out once you've been with us for a year. It's paid out quarterly. So you get a check for $1,250 every quarter. Now that's your quarter, not the company's quarter. So it's 3 months from when you start, every 3 months from when you start. So at the end, you'll have a full $5,000.
Excellent, excellent. Now the extra amount is for any miles that you run over 25,000 for the quarter, you'll get an extra 5 cents a mile on all those miles. And seeing what we have been seeing on the payouts since we started it, it runs a roughly $100 to $400 more per month just on the accelerated part of that sign-on, not per month, but per quarter on that accelerated part of the sign-on bonus. So definitely seeing some money on that, some incentive. Plus we have the referral bonus. We love referrals. So the referral bonus, we just did the quarterly drawing for that. That's $1,000 quarterly drawing, but that doesn't count the actual payout for the referrals. It's $1,500. It pays out within 90 days. That's the minimum because it just goes up by the number of referrals that you have. So again, I'm laying out all of it for you just so you know how you can make money here at Decker. But then let's talk about the expenses. So you know, in reality, that's what you're going to make. This is what, these are your deductions. And then you're going to know your bottom line, which is the most important because that's what you're actually taking home. So let's take a look at some of these expenses that we have available here in our percentage pay for our refrigerated division. We have our $1,500 down payment, like I said. The truck payment is $650 per week. Now, our trucks are newer model trucks. However, you do have the option to choose an older truck. And when I say older, I'm talking, you know, like a 2020 or a 2019. I'm not talking anything in the 90s, but these are still newer model trucks. It just wouldn't be brand new. We figure if the truck is, for example, a year old, so 12 months old, it roughly has about 120,000 miles on it. So therefore, we knock a year off of the lease. So instead of having a 4-year lease term, you're looking at a 3-year lease term for that particular truck. Now, if you looked at a brand new truck and that's the one that you're going to use, then obviously it's going to be a 4-year lease term. At the end, you have the option to do either the balloon payment, which is $66,000, or you can roll it into an extended lease. So instead of that 4-year, you're looking at a 6-year, where the last 2 months, or excuse me, the last 2 years of that lease are, instead of $650, it's $665 a week, just for the last 2 years, because of the increase in the balloon payment being included in that. Now, in addition to that, we have the maintenance service fee. The maintenance service fee is 9 cents a mile during the 4-year lease term. And that's going to cover you for pretty much anything that the warranty won't. Because they're newer trucks, we have a warranty, but the warranty is up at 500,000 miles or 5 years. So that's why we make sure that we've got that maintenance service fee. And then if you do extend the lease to a 6-year term, know that the last 2 years or anything over 480,000 miles is going to have a maintenance service. Instead of a maintenance service fee, it's going to be an escrow of 12 cents per mile instead of the 9 cents a mile. So that's a little bit different, but it's on the tail end of the lease. And it just depends on if you chose to do the lump sum for the balloon payment or if you're doing the extended 2-year term. Now back to the beginning of the lease and the layout there. It's $50 for the security escrow, up to $2,500. You can continue to add that or just leave it at the $2,500. Of course, you'll get our fuel discounts, which you'll see major discounts, not necessarily at the pump, even though you'll still see some at the pump, but definitely on your settlement, you'll see the major discounts. So stick to the fuel routing. It'll save you a bundle, no doubt. Death, insurance runs roughly $100, $97.60, I think is what the truck is. We also have our $22.90 highway vehicle tax, not necessarily ours, but the $22.90. So that runs just under $11 a week, $50 a week for the base plates and permits, $50 for a week for tolls. Now that's a rough estimate because tolls run roughly $200 to $250 per month, but that's with the understanding that you're running the lanes that or the routes that we're giving you and not going around it, because you can choose different routes. However, if you do that, it could affect your fuel and your discounts. So please be aware of that because it is, I can't stress what a major factor that is. And if it affects your tolls, then it could make your tolls average, $75 a week instead of the $50 a week, and so forth. So be aware of that. Your fuel tax, your ATBS, that's an optional, but definitely preferred. The option of ATBS is really going to help you with your finances and the legalities of being a business owner, which is basically what you're doing when you're taking on the lease purchase. Now, with the amenities that we have in the truck, I know Erin had mentioned, we have TV, we have Epic View. Epic View is a satellite television, and it's 100+ channels. It has HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, but let's be honest, we all really just want the Sunday ticket. And so that's in there. It's $16 a week. It's optional. You don't have to have it, but it is available to you if you want. Those are your basic expenses. So if you are making yourself available and running those routes that the driver managers are giving you, because you're going to be running very similar, if not the same as a company driver here at Decker, but that's good for you because you don't have to worry about the business. You have to do the driving, and ATBS and Decker will take care of the business part of your business to keep your miles high with that fuel surcharge, to keep the load revenue high, to make sure that those loads are available for you and consistent so that you're bringing home, $2,000 a week. So basically that's our refrigerated percentage pay. Now our flatbed percentage pay is a little bit different. I'll give Bryce a chance to explain a little bit of that.
Yeah, so I'd like to start off going back a little bit. So Decker, we've been in business 90 years. Out of our lease programs, these 3 that we're offering are the most successful lease programs we've had at Decker. And really the success comes from the scorecard. Jesse's been talking about that scorecard. It's really a good it gives us the ability to focus on where we can coach drivers to be more successful, to see more profit. So in our flatbed side of things, a lot of times guys transition from company to lease. So they take over the lease on the truck they're seated in. They know the truck. If they don't want that truck, then they're leasing other options. But the truck note, instead of $650 on the reefer side, on the flatbed side, it's $675 a week. and that's to account for the headache rack and equipment that we put on that truck. Now, it doesn't matter the truck you choose, so the length of the lease is what's different. So $675, and then the length of the lease is based on when the manufacturer warranty is going to fall off. So we set it up to mirror how our fleet runs, our company fleet. Our company is on a 36 to 42 month trade cycle. We'll run the trucks under the manufacturer warranty, and when that's up, we trade it. So we want our lease drivers to have that same option. So you guys have 3 options at the end of the first lease. Option 1 is to trade in, get into a new truck and a new lease like we do as a company. Option 2 would be a balloon payment of $66,000. Most drivers don't have the funds to pay that off, so we put option 3 in place, and that would be to do the financing through us for $66,000, and we'll stretch it over 2 years. So you will continue leasing that truck for 2 more years. So let's talk more about the first lease. So the first lease, still 72% plus 100% of the fuel surcharge. For flatbed, you guys are getting 100% of that fuel surcharge. Now, 72%, you might ask, with current rates, it's averaging about $2 to $2.15 per mile. The 72% is coming out to about that. But it will vary depending on some of the loads that you're hauling. So as far as revenue, you got the 72% plus the fuel surcharge. As far as expenses, so we've talked about the truck note, which is $675 a week for flatbed. We've also got maintenance. In the first lease, we do it like we do the reefer side of things. It's a maintenance full service fee. No other out-of-pocket expenses as long as you don't break it. You back into something and you break something, then you're going to have to cover that. But if it's normal wear and tear, you blow a turbo, you got wiring issues, your 9 cents a mile is covering that. There's no additional out-of-pocket expense. We set up a security escrow. We want a minimum of $2,500 in there. That is your, if you will, your rainy day fund, your vacation fund. You need some time off work. As long as you have more than $2,500 in there, we can, pull some money out of there for any types of expenses you may have. Almost all of our successful lease drivers are putting in double the amount we want in there. We want a minimum of $50 a week going in there until you hit that $2,500. Most successful lease drivers here are putting in 100, 150, and they don't stop after $2,500. They keep going. Fuel, that's going to be your biggest expense with us. We strongly encourage you to follow our fuel solutions. You're not seeing them on the pump per se, but those discounts are 50 to 60 cents per gallon. That is a lot of pennies. They add up quick. DEF is another expense. ATBS, Jesse was talking about, is optional, but highly recommended. They take all the stress out of being a business owner, if you will. They'll take care of your accounting, your tax preparation. They'll do business consulting. They'll benchmark your data. That they're a very good tool to have in your repertoire. And then some of the other expenses, owner op insurance. She talked about that a little bit. $97.60 a week for that. $22.90 highway vehicle tax is $10.58 a week. Tolls. Those are going to vary, like she was talking about, based on your toll usage. Now, one thing, we are tracking that. So you have the ability to use our Elite Pass, but we're going to tell you when you have higher usage for those months. You'll get a courtesy call from Darren, and he'll let you know you're going to have a larger expense for tolls coming out a specific week that's set to clear. So he keeps you in the loop on that. Fuel tax is going to run you about $21 a week, and then base plates are going to cost you about $50 a week. And then loading charges with flatbed, you're going to see loading charges. So I'd say most of our drywall, if not all of it, or wallboard, gypsum products are pre-tarped. So you're going to pay that loading charge, if you will, for that service. So that's running your total deductions. They're going to vary a little bit based on fuel and those loading charges and tolls, but we're typically seeing total deductions between, I'd say, $19.50 and $21.50 a week on average. The goal is to generate, between 4,000 and 5,000 a week in revenue for the truck. So that's leaving you, with a solid net pay. But keep in mind, as a lease driver, you do need to pay double the taxes, and you would need to also take care of your health benefits with that take-home pay. So that's kind of a breakdown of our flatbed program.
Sorry, I muted myself. I think it's important what Bryce noted too is that we have a goal of 4,000 to 5,000 shooting for that revenue. So we have goals set not only with expectations for what we want of you, but also in correlation for what you want. That's something that we're discussing together before you even start here at Decker. So you have that conversation with your recruiter. You'll have that conversation with your driver manager. And you'll continually update that conversation with your driver manager and maybe even Darren or Jason, who are running our lease purchase programs. So, we want to see success, and I cannot say that enough. We want to see you succeed in this process. But if lease purchase is not the option for you, if you're not quite ready and you want to get a feel for the company, just know that you have the option to do company before diving into lease purchase. Make sure that Decker is the right company for you before you dive into that. It's definitely an option.
And one thing I'd add, Jesse, is our lease program is going to give you the ability to see if it's cut out for you. It's a walk away lease. If it doesn't work out, you can simply go back to being a company driver, or you can go elsewhere, and it's not going to affect your credit. That's a huge factor in our program.
Exactly. Now, even with the pay per mile position that we have with our refrigerated division. Now, and this one might be the best one for you. It really depends on the running lanes that where you're going to be running. And in most cases, with the refrigerated division more specifically, also with flatbed, but definitely with our refrigerated division, the higher paying revenue loads are in the Midwest. So if you're in the Midwest, I highly recommend that you go on percentage pay. Now, if you're running miles out in the West and you're running to the Midwest and you're going back and forth and you like the longer length of haul and you have every intention to stick with those, then the pay per mile might be the best route for you. It's $1.05 a mile plus the fuel surcharge. And remember, it's 100% of fuel surcharge on any dry loads that you might be running and 90% on any reefer loads, because the 10% goes to Decker. And again, we take care of the reefer fuel. It's not something that you need to worry about. However, I should probably rephrase that, because you still need to be checking the reefer fuel and being well aware of that. That's especially with the temperatures the way they are right now. Maintaining the reefer fuel and having it up there is important. My point was Decker will take on that expense. The accessorial pay is 72% with a max or a cap of $60. The monthly scorecard is going to be the same for the refrigerated division. It's 3 cents a mile. The monthly smart drive bonus is another penny per mile. And same goes with the flatbed. That scorecard and smart drive bonus is going to be the same with both the divisions. The sign-on bonus, same thing, $5,000 for our sign-on bonus. Bryce, did you mention the sign-on bonus?
I did not. I'm sorry. That is also eligible for flatbed lease. Works same way as all the other bonuses, paid out quarterly. Now there is a difference between reefer and flatbed when it comes to the accelerator part. You'll be paid the 5 cents additional over 20,000 miles rather than 25,000. And still same as the reefer as far as payout goes on that.
Right. And actually in that flatbed, that's the part that I couldn't remember if you had said that. Sometimes you keep that fresh enough in your head, you think it just was mentioned, but the bonus payouts that we've been seeing in our flatbed division, have been more than our refrigerated division, significantly more. Actually, we're seeing between $400 and $600 for, in addition to the $1,250 that you get every quarter. We're seeing an easy $500 on those flatbed. So that's definitely that accelerated part you want to keep in mind. So running the miles is important, whether you're getting the percentage pay or you're getting the pay per mile. But always remember, the number that you're going for, your goal revenue, is going to outweigh mileage. It's going to outweigh everything, but it's still important to keep those wheels turning. Referral bonus, again, that's in both divisions. Really, the difference that you're going to see in the divisions from the percentage pay in the refrigerated and the pay per mile is more of like the what's the word I want? The sorry, hang on. Like the security, the base plates and the permits, those are covered with a mileage pay, but not with a percentage pay. See if I got that right. Yeah, mileage pay, not the percentage pay. So those types of things are covered. $22.90, that's still going to be covered with the cents per mile. The DEF, the fuel, those are still expenses that you'll be having. The escrow, the $50 escrow, the maintenance, they're very similar, but you will see a difference in in the base plates and the permits and stuff like that. Some of those overall expenses. Pre-pass, easy pass, that's another thing Decker takes care of on the pay per mile versus the percentage pay. There you go. I'll get it. Now, anything that we're missing with the lease purchase overall before we dive into the orientation information? Anything that you can see?
Might have forgot something, but we'll think of it after this, of course.
Yes. If you guys need a sample spreadsheet of what your settlement will look like, or the expenses and deductions from your revenue, just reach out to us. The best thing to do is to talk to a recruiter directly. Our number is 888-668-0698. And if you talk to a recruiter directly, they're going to make sure that, yes, we have lease purchase in your area, because we don't offer it everywhere. And of course, make sure the division you're looking for is also available in your area. So if you have specific locations, either put it in the chat or ask the recruiter. And then you can apply online at drivedecker.com. Once you apply online, you get approved. The process is actually pretty quick. You apply online, make sure that you meet all of our qualifications, meaning you don't have a ton of tickets or moving violations or accidents or incidents or felonies or misdemeanors, and you have at least, it's preferred that you have a year of experience before you go into the lease purchase. You need to know what the trucking industry is all about, and being on top of the loads and knowing what it takes to run a business and to be efficient in the truck is kind of eye-opening if you've never been in the trucking industry or never around it. So have a good year of experience. Now, we can get away with as little as 9 months to get you into the lease purchase program, but I would recommend or the $1,500. Yep. But keep in mind, for your success, I do suggest a year of experience.
One thing I'd like to add, we didn't really talk about home time. I mean, most of our programs going to need to be out 2 weeks, but it's also going to depend on what your earning expectations are when it's all said and done. So if you're in the Midwest, you might have an opportunity for weekly home time doing a lease program. Most of the other areas are going to require you to be out at least 2 to 3 weeks at a time, if you want to generate revenue, that is.
Yep, I can't agree with that more. We have success with some of those that are getting home on a weekly basis, but we don't have as many success stories as we do with the 2 to 3 week, especially when it's new to you. Make sure that you're putting yourself in the best seat possible for that. Now, once you're approved, orientation is 2.5 days. It's in Fort Dodge, Iowa. We do pay for orientation. It's $500. However, you get an extra $100 bonus by completing some of the tasks ahead of time, such as the online orientation. Takes a couple of hours, roughly 3 to 5 hours or so, but it cuts at least a day to day and a half out of the orientation process. So leaving you with just the 2.5 days instead of a week-long orientation. So complete your online orientation, which will be sent to you by your recruiter and the director of recruiting before coming to orientation. Have your physical. If you don't already have a current physical or a recent physical that's good for at least 6 more months, then we'll need to schedule you a new one. If you do have a current and recent physical, then we will need a copy of your full long form so that we can get that approved instead of having to redo a physical for you. You also need to do the urinalysis ahead of time. Don't worry, these aren't expenses that you're going to be responsible for and that we would have to reimburse you. That's complete opposite, actually. What would happen is we take care of the scheduling. You show up, you take them, but we take care of the scheduling, and we have a repayment agreement, that you'll see during the online orientation as well as orientation in Fort Dodge. And really, it's just you recognizing that Decker has invested in you, and this is the amount that we've invested in order to make this work for you. If you left within the first 6 months, you could be responsible for a portion of those. But each month we knock $100 off, and doesn't even matter what it was. Come 6 months, we wash it clean. So it's kind of a safety for both you and for us, and recognizing the investment that we've made in you, and that yes, we take this seriously. This is important, and we want to make sure that you take it seriously as well. So you'll have your online orientation, you'll have your physical and drug test. Now, I mentioned the urinalysis. However, we do a hair follicle once you arrive in orientation in Fort Dodge, as well as the PCE, which is like range of motion and resistance.
If you're going to do lease purchase from day one, you do not need to do the PCE test.
True, very true. PCE is becoming more common, but some people are still not as familiar with it. A lot of companies do it in conjunction with the physical. We do it completely separate. So, but if you've got the $1,500 down and you're going to go straight into lease purchase, like Bryce said, you don't even have to worry about it. Not a big deal either way. But you'll go over additional company policies, procedures, of course, the driving test. You'll meet with your driver manager and go over the expectation form that you already went over the phone with your recruiter. And that's, again, remember how I said that we're going to make sure that you've got your goals set, that what you're looking for is in alignment with what we have to offer and keeping you down the right path. That's what that expectation form is for. So we'll go down that path together in the right direction. But you'll meet your driver manager, you'll get into the truck, get yourself situated, and then get started doing what you came here to do, make a little bit of money, get you going, get those wheels turning. Orientation process, applying online, getting approved. What am I missing, you guys?
I can't think of anything. I mean,
You got everything.
touching it all. We'll get you a rental car or a flight to get you here. If you're traveling from a long ways away, we can help get you a room en route. And then once you're here, we'll have you in a hotel room. Those are individual rooms. We provide 2 meals. The hotel does take breakfast in the morning, so we'll take care of your lunch and dinner. And then just make sure we get everything taken care of to get you out of here.
When you arrive here at Decker, you'll notice that we are definitely setting ourselves apart from other companies. You'll meet Katie. Katie McFarland is our concierge. So that's the title I'm giving her. I don't know if that's fair or not, but
good one.
She's a good go-to. She'll be able to do the walkthrough with you on the truck, make sure that it meets your expectations, that everything is in line with what you're expecting. And like I said, you're going through that with your driver manager, you're going through that with your recruiter, and Katie is right there being your advocate, making sure that we're all checking the marks that you are. She's also there in orientation, helping to answer any questions that you might have while the orientation leader, whether it be Tanner or Elaine or Dave, while they're maybe addressing somebody else in the class, she's there to be able to answer some questions as well. And she might be hovering in the back, just sitting there waiting for you to ask a question. But it's kind of nice having that go-to individual, and then someone you can always come back to. Speaking of someone you can always come back to, we have what we call our ART program. It's an ambassador program, and somebody within the Decker company will be able to reach out to you, especially within the first couple of weeks, reach out to you on a regular basis and touch base, make sure that everything's going well, that you have a great understanding of our ELD system, our communication in the truck, which is our TransFlow Geotab system. If you have questions on how to get the paperwork in, which is through the TransFlow system, and then it needs to be in by 10 o'clock on Sunday. If you're wondering who to talk to if you're having a breakdown, letting you know that you have 24/7 support, that the number is 4321 or 4 something like that. It's super easy. What is that number? 4321. That's it. All right. So 515-574-4321. If you have a breakdown or if you need something repaired, they're there no matter what. We have after hours, 24/7 after hours dispatch, that if you're coming into Fort Dodge and you're getting something done on the truck, they're making arrangements, whether it be for a car or a hotel or just for your downtime, so that if you're supposed to be meeting with somebody in safety, or if you're trying to meet with one of your recruiters because you've got a referral to give them, or if you need to get into the shop, that they are all well aware that you're coming in, and we're trying to make it easy so that you're in, you're out, you don't have to waste any more time than you already are. I shouldn't say waste. We have the great maintenance program, and we stay up on our A&B, very thorough on our A&B services, by the way. So it may take a little bit longer, but that's going to prevent you from having any issues out on the road.
I mean, one thing that helps, I'll just add with that is, I mean, keep in mind, we do run these trucks under the manufacturer warranty, which requires them to be serviced regularly. So
you know you're going to get quality equipment, and you'll have quality service and support all the way through. So if this is something you guys are interested, please reach out to one of our recruiters. Again, that number to the recruiting department is 888-668-0698. You can find us every week, every Monday at 4 p.m. Central, answering questions on our Q&A. That's our Facebook Live, facebook.com/DTL Inc. You can also access us on our YouTube Live, which is Decker Truckline, youtube.com/C/Decker Truckline. That's noon Central on Tuesdays. We have a Inside the Triangle that is available to you. It is our weekly podcast that comes out every Thursday, and Darren hosts that to keep you up to date. No matter what, we are trying to keep you in the loop on everything that's going on, so that you are just as informed as the next person in what's going on here at your company. So get your applications in at drivedecker.com. We look forward to visiting with you. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to any of the recruiters. 888-668-0698. You guys have a great day. Thanks for being here with us.